Hello, folks. This is Tom from anti-proton.com, and I have an interesting treat for you today. I am at my dad's house, father, and father. Well, anyway, my dad has a bunch of really neat antiques because he is he's a history professor, and he was a museum director and a museum president and CEO and all this stuff for years and years and years and years. And he's so good at museums that he does accreditations and all this other stuff. And as you can see, he has some antiques. Example being, this book is from perhaps, 1670 or something like this. Ivory figures, all these nice little things. This is what happens, well, how old's that chair, Owen? 1690. Okay, yeah, that chair's from 1690. It's randomly sitting there for no reason. And he's going to talk to you today about a couple random books that he has. Now, I'm not going to show his face because I don't show my face, generally speaking, as you know in my videos. And this is...
Alright, you wanted to see some books. This one is The Ancient Right of the Commons of England, Asserted, or a Discourse, Proving by, and on and on and on. Titles in the 17th century were very long. This was written by William Pettit, who was an attorney. It says he wrote it in the Inner Temple, which simply means that's a part of London where lawyers existed, okay, at the time. The date, this book is it's in English, so it's nicely dated 1680, and this simply tells you who printed it. Books like this is in very good condition. Note the print is very big for the time, and that's the introduction. The introduction is half the book, and then it goes into the actual proving the importance of the House of Commons. This is still, notice the preface of the book. It's still preface here. This is all...
Here, read a little piece of it.
The introduction.
Just a couple random words out of it.
Well, let's see. Yet I do not think that the Lord's temporal only were the populace, nor the Lord's spiritual, the clerics. For I agree with Dr. Heinlein that there is no record either of history or law which I have observed in which the word clerus serves to, then it gets into Latin, then it gets into archbishop and all this other stuff.
Yeah, notice it doesn't say cleric, it says clerus,
yes.
Which of course is the proper way to say that in Latin.
Eventually you get over here to the actual meat of the book.
Trust me, knowing Latin is useful.
And notice the numbering has gone back to page 16. It starts right here. Here's the actual book.
Discourse,
page 1. And then it goes back and it talks about the book is on the Commons of England, which is the House of Commons. Okay, it's a leather-bound book. It's been rebound. The original boards, the boards are in leather. They've been carefully taken off. The book was probably in bad shape. Put on a new foundation. The foundation they put it on is also done in leather, so keeping with the period.
Now, what's this very large book that you have?
Book is by Jonathan Lightfoot.
Is this the tome?
This is a tome. This is tome 1, volume 1.
And so for all of you people out there on the internet who have never had the free, ability to look at a tome, and you've been playing video games and they always use the word tome in it, here's a real tome, the actual thing.
Here's the book with a nice map of the Holy Land in the middle here. I haven't looked at this map in so long I can't remember, but you notice it's got little castles and all kinds of stuff like that. Jonathan Lightfoot had never been to the Near East, and because he had never been to the Near East, he didn't know what the Near East looked like. But that didn't stop him from having pictures drawn and so forth.
Of course.
And
with the little castles.
Right, little castle here. Here's a nice castle. That one. Here's an even better one right here with a little moat around it and everything. Typical you found in Europe, but you don't necessarily find this in near Jerusalem.
Oh, they were wishful thinkers.
Right.
This is Antioch or something,
this
right?
Book, whatever it is. Most of the time these have been lifted from the book. Unfortunately, it cuts the value of the book way down, and they're often framed and sold separately. When you frame them and sell them separately, you make more money, but you destroy the book. Little angels here are beautiful. Cherubs are beautifully done. This book has another characteristic, so I'm going to close it to show you. The book is covered in something called vellum, which is a hide like leather, and this is all nicely embossed right here. Beautiful embossing on it. And the date, the book dates from 1686-87, and in the back of the second tome, second edition, second book, It has a New Testament of the Bible
There's the other one,
done
See?
in red ink.
Tome 2. Interestingly, no E on the end of it, so it says Tom.
Yep.
Not really, though, but...
It does.
Apparently, if you're a museum director and professor, then you have ancient books. This could be looks like it could be a spell book right out of a wizard's library. Of course, that's not what it is. It's
This
actually...
is the original binding on the book. This is
Nice.
It survived the entire time. You never open them fully up because you might break your spine.
And how old is that book again?
And, well, it dates from 1686. So that's what? That's before the Glorious Revolution.
It's what, almost 400 years?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, 1686, our family was already in America by that point.
Yeah.
So, whoopsie daisy.
Sorry about that.
Now, this is from America, correct?
No, this is an English. This is Dutch.
Dutch?
He was an Englishman who had to flee England, and he wrote this book, which is monotonous, but it's a book on religion. And he went to Holland, which was very liberal, in order to write it. This gentleman right here wrote the book in England, and just proving that the House of Commons was important. He wouldn't have to prove that today because they run the show, but he was proving it then, back in the same period.
Interesting. And of course, down here on the floor, just randomly happen to be standing this rug. What's this rug? Just for giggles that I'm standing on.
It's a Caucasian piece.
How old is it?
1900, maybe a little bit earlier than that.
There I am standing on it. It's happy enough, though.
Well, it's just out for a week
Why is it only out for a week?
because I rotate them.
Good grief. What's the next one to come out?
Don't know.
Alright, well, anyhow, that is my father, who is a museum director and professor, and actually knows what he's talking about, with many, many, many of his incredibly ancient and wonderful books that, well, except for those right there, those are new. As you can see, there are some of them right there. Some of the most interesting books you'd ever expect to see in any place. And little figurines and things like that. So, anyhow, this is Tom from anti-proton.com, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.